Hello and welcome to Soul in Balance. And how is everybody going? I actually feel like collectively we are all in a really positive and optimistic outlook at this point in time, especially for a full moon in Scorpio. Like right now is full moon in Scorpio, and usually it's quite like intense and like sometimes dark. A lot of people have like a dark night of the soul when it's a Scorpio full moon, but this full moon, I think because of the Uranus Jupiter conjunction we're having in Taurus, it's very much bringing us to a point where we just need to be at peace in where we are right now and find the magic of right now, because that's where the magic is right now, like in this moment. You know, the magic isn't in the past, it isn't in the future, it isn't hoping and dreaming of the future, because then you're taking that energy, like your energy is in another point in time, where the point in time where we're at right now is where the magic happens. So it's literally been a month since we've had the lunar eclipse in Libra that we had a month ago, which was quite intense. We saw a lot of issues arise to the surface, especially in relation to how we're relating to people, our place in the world. And now we've come full circle to this full moon in Scorpio, where it's just like, how can we take responsibility for our subconscious mind, our past traumas, where we have setbacks, where we have, a negative perspective. This is a point in time where we need to take responsibility for our past, responsibility for our old process, and responsibility for our patterns, and create new patterns, because that is what this Jupiter and Uranus aspect is doing. It's like breaking away the old, like radically breaking it away, so then we create space for Jupiter and positivity and a new direction to expand. So this is a very positive and uplifting time. I can definitely feel it within myself of there's just this hope for the future, and just to trust and have faith that what's in your heart will come forward. But we need this time to create a foundation and to pave a new way within ourselves. So definitely this point in time, I think it's really a time to just embody peace and live in the moment, because that's where the magic is. And also to try and dissolve conflict where we have conflict in our life. Like we look at the world stage, there's just conflict everywhere. But what we can do and what we have control over is the conflict in here, is the conflict in our own lives. And because of that eclipse, especially the solar eclipse in Aries, it's really saying we'll break away from the things that aren't working, from the old patterns, from the old way we used to operate and present ourselves to the world, is to break away from that and go our own direction and have people and things connect to us from that place. So definitely it's a time to dissolve conflict, and I think the best place to start is here. And also really important is to just, hold peace and love and understanding for what's going on in our differences at this point in time, because there is just so much conflict, like especially here in Australia. Like we've had 3 stabbing cases now. Like there was a stabbing at a shopping mall where a boy stabbed a whole heap of women and children. Then we had the stabbing of the bishop in Sydney, and then then in Melbourne over the weekend there was also another stabbing. So it's just like, I don't know, this collective thing of stabbing. And I'm very much a believer of they're sending signals through like the Wi-Fi or energetically for things to happen, because obviously it's all a stage. There is an agenda playing out in the world, whether we like it or not, and they do use things like 5G as a way, because that is actually a weapon. Like if you go and have a look at any government website, 5G is used as a weapon. It's used as a penetrator, so it sends signals. So, you know, I do believe there is, you know, like frequencies being sent for violence, you know, and it is pretty normal that this is coming up because, you know, we did have that solar eclipse in Aries because Aries represents war, represents conflict, going our own way, paving our own way, being that warrior. So we are seeing, you know, a lot of violence and, you know, like what's happening in Iran and stuff like that. So I just think it's really important that we hold peace, we hold love on the planet, and to really make an effort to do that at this time and not pick sides and just be neutral as much as possible, because we don't want, you know, like nuclear episodes and there to be a huge war breakout into the world, because that's just eventually going to lead to there being more, you know, digital security and all the things that we don't want controlling the people moving forward. So it's really important that we don't be a part of that energy creating war and tension in the world, that we resolve our own personal conflicts in our own life, in our own mind, and hold space for the outside world. And another thing I think is really important is to avoid doom scrolling. So when everybody knows, like, you know, since the dawn of social media, like, especially now with like these like 30-second reels and clips and stuff, you know, people do a lot of like doom scrolling, or just to avoid how you're feeling if you've got anxiety, and to not do doom scrolling at this point in time. Like, it's definitely important that we know what's going on in the world, but we don't have to be literally just breaking our own hearts and causing ourselves to be in fear, because fear creates anger and tension and frustration in the world, because there is only really two emotions. Like, there's fear and there's love, because what stems from fear is sadness, anger, frustration, violence, and then love is the other opposite end of that, which is kindness and compassion and sharing and understanding. So we need to try and focus on being in love and not being in fear. So definitely try and hold back on doom scrolling, which I know I need to do myself. Interesting. I didn't know this last video about the Dubai flooding, like, which is really, you know, a good point of saying how man should not be messing with the weather. As we all know, like all over the world, there's chemtrails. They're trying to modify the weather. In Australia, they put all this smoke and stuff. I don't know what it is that they do at the Great Barrier Reef, but they do this some kind of weather modifying over the Great Barrier Reef. They do it with the chemtrails, but obviously in Dubai they do like the cloud seeding to bring about rain because it is in the desert. But just seeing that flooding, you know, seeing what everything that happened, and how man should not be messing with the weather, and if that's a good example of how we shouldn't be doing it, like we should really be stopping that right now. But obviously it's not going to happen. There's obviously an agenda. But yes, so we had the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. For me, I definitely think it's got a lot to do with our belief systems and how we connect to the divine. Because Jupiter represents our beliefs, religion, optimism, expansion, and Uranus is evolution, evolving spiritually, and change, breaking away from the old. And especially in Taurus, it's like Taurus represents the human body, it represents our human senses, it represents the earth, it represents our values and money and our love for ourselves. So if we put all those together, it's just like we need to be connecting to the divine and connecting to the divine in our own way, and accepting of other people's way. And there is no right way, you know, like we can't say one religion is the right way and the rest are all terrible because this religion's done this and this religion's done this and this religion. Like, do you know what I mean? No religion is innocent, because man has used religion in all their crusades. Like even in Australia, like the English came here with all their convicts, and then in the name of Christianity murdered and enslaved Aboriginals, and then took Aboriginals from their tribal homes, took the children and then put them in like orphanages and made them become Christians, you know what I mean? And then raped and murdered their parents and enslaved their parents, you know? So we can't sit there and say Christianity is the best religion, or Islam is the best religion, or Buddhism or Hinduism or Judaism, whatever it is. Like, I think at this time, the best thing to do is just connect to what makes you connect to source, what makes you connect to the divine, what resonates with you, and not worry about all these judgments and, you know, these issues playing out on the world stage between this religion and this religion, because this is exactly what's happening right now, is exactly what they did in 9/11, you know, like in Australia, for instance, we didn't know much about Islam. All we kind of saw was what played out on the world stage with America, and then next minute they're in Iraq. And there's a war in Iraq, and then it just turned out that there was no weapons of mass destruction. They just wanted to take over the oil in Iraq, and then destroyed the whole country, and yeah, left many people in Iraq in just total dismay. And it is still a mess now in Iraq. So it's just like, I think it's a time is to just not buy into the propaganda. Anything that they're putting out on the world stage that makes you judge somebody else, you should know straight away that's a red flag not to listen. So even if it's like the race things, white people are bad, black people are bad, anything that's causing conflict, like people that got vaccinated and the people that didn't, this religion against this religion, women are bad or men are bad, like anything that's creating division is something that we should be totally ignoring and just not even paying attention to. And if anything, we should be putting in our mindset, how can I more connect to these people? How can I more connect to people that are Islamic? How can I more connect to men? How can I more connect to someone who's white or somebody who's black? Do you know what I mean? It should be just a, you know, alarm bell saying, hey, let's do the opposite of what they're trying to put out into the world. But yes, I just definitely feel like it's a really optimistic time. Now with the aspects with this full moon in Scorpio, so the full moon, so the sun and the moon are in opposition, and it's squaring Pluto that's about to go retrograde in May. And we're also seeing that Mercury is about to station direct as well. So, oh my God, how would I want to put all this in a non-astrological way? So realistically, I just think we're starting a new chapter of life in a new way, and releasing the old and finding our purpose, and finding a purpose that's inclusive of everybody, but also honoring what works for us and who we really are. And yeah, being in a state of peace, you know, being in the moment and understanding that what we want will come from being in this present moment and understanding that everything has a divine timing. And what else have I got here? Yeah, so we're stepping into permanent change. We're going to see a lot of change in like relationships and especially money. So this can be a time where we're kind of finally maturing or finding a new way to make money. Or same with relationships, it's like we're finding a new way to relate to people, or a new way to show up in relationships. Letting go, Scorpio, of our past traumas and our subconscious programming. So this is it's just a fantastic time to break out of the old and have a positive new direction forward. Like, I can't explain how positive and optimistic and at peace I feel at this point in time. Like, I just feel so hopeful for the future, and yeah, free from the old. Like, obviously it's still there. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I've just been able to just, oh, okay, here's all my problems, see you later. Like, they're there, but it's like I can finally integrate them, you know, like, and use them in a more positive sense, and get rid of what doesn't work for me. So I don't know, I just hope everybody else is feeling that way at the same time too. I haven't finished yet. Okay, so cards I got. So I had a few cards like just fly out at me today. Alrighty, so for the sacred geometry, I got integration, which we do. We need to integrate the good things from the past and our beliefs and what we firmly believe in, and integrate it into our new direction where things will flourish, minus the old karmic baggage that we don't need anymore. So I'm just going to read the meaning of integration. So we've got the energy of integration helps you apply new truths to your daily life. This energy makes you aware that you are responsible for your own choices. So integrate positive and beautiful things from your past that need to come with you, and integrate them with the new future direction that we're going, and to be at peace and understand that the magic is here. It's here. Okay. I've also got medicine wheel, and which is usually the wheel of fortune. So we are at a point where to expect the unexpected in a positive way, because the wheel of fortune in tarot, so this is the herbal medical deck, but it's just like expect something positive, you know, when we break away from the old, you know, like something, like the universe is on our side to bring us something that we really need moving forward. So expect the unexpected at this time in a positive way, not in a negative way. And we've got compassion. Release judgment about yourself and others and focus on love and light that is within everyone, which is what we definitely need right now. Okay, and I've also got Blast Facet, which is independent. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Exactly. The sun is in Taurus, is to be independent. It's like self-reliance, you know, I love myself, this is my foundation. It's like if we think about a bull is in their own territory, they have their own paddock, this is what I need, this is what I am, and you know, I'm just going to plod along my own way. So this is a time of definitely finding your independence, finding your own foundation, and being solid in yourself and solid in your beliefs and solid in who you are, even though that's changing a lot. Like even me, like the last week I've just been mentally just like, oh my god, what do I believe, what do I think, like, you know, what direction am I going? But yeah, so it's definitely time to just be strong in your own independence, and what is meant for you will find you and meet you in the direction that you're going. So definitely be strong in your own independence at this time. And I've also got jewel within a teardrop, appreciation, spiritual and emotional reconnection. So I definitely feel like too, there's a lot of people reconnecting to their to spirituality, to religion, to something higher than themselves, which is really beautiful. You know, a lot of people are saying that this is end times. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just the end of what we know, what the world and society to be, this controlled and manipulated dynamic. I think that is what we're seeing. And also, in a way, the end of things being natural, you know, like Taurus represents nature. And with Uranus being there, like Uranus is the internet. Uranus is digital. So we all know we're coming to the end of what's natural. Everything is going to be quite digital moving forward, you know, like even in Australia, we've got the 15-minute cities coming in 2026, you know, like with cashless societies and all that type of stuff. So everything is becoming very, very digital in that sense. So I think that's why a lot of people are connecting to more of like a spiritual or religious point of view, because we need to connect to something bigger than ourselves. But that's it, guys. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. Oh, and I'm going to Italy. So I had, okay, so I had this feel, like my dad's going to Italy in May. And like I've wanted to go to Italy for ages now. And I was planning to go in September because it's cheaper, like the flights are cheaper and just getting around Italy is cheaper in September because it's not the summer. And then I had this feeling, something kept saying to me, just check the flights. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, oh, why would I check the flights? Like I know how much they are. It's like $2,700 or something like that, you know, from Melbourne. And I don't know, I just, all right, I'll check the flights. And then I checked the flights, and in August, like one of the most expensive times, the flight was $1,300. So my point in saying this is like, Uranus is intuitive information, you know, and with that Jupiter, like Jupiter is also travel, international travel. So because they are together right now, it's like if you have some kind of thought come through telling you to do something, do it, you know, like check it out, like don't just ignore it. Like for me, like I don't want to be in Melbourne when they start to introduce the 15-minute cities and stuff like that. So I've been thinking about moving to Sicily for ages because it's still quite, no offense to any Sicilians, still quite prehistoric, you know, like they're not really up with all the latest digital stuff, which is what I want. Like I don't want to live in a place that's controlled and digital. Like don't get me wrong, like the idea is kind of cool, but I would like to live more of like a simple life as I start to get older. So yeah, so it's just amazing. And another thing too, like I don't know if any of you guys get into astrocartography, like I have a lot of lines running through Sicily as well. So that's, I don't know, like you should have a look at astrocartography of where you should live, where you'd really flourish in certain areas in the world. And a lot of my lines run through Italy and Sicily. So, you know, like for me, it's like, it's a good place for me to have a partnership and a good place for me to be really creative because I've got my MC and Neptune running through Sicily. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, but just have a look at your astrocartography, see where the best place is for you to live, or especially for your work or your passions and things like that. But yeah, my point of the whole story was if you get any kind of thoughts coming through, any kind of innovative, evolving, kind of some kind of direction, something that you should listen to, pay attention to it and check it out. But yes, that's it for me, guys. Yeah, I think just for this point in time is to definitely just be at peace, go with the flow, be in the present, like be in right now. That's where the magic is. And just trust and have faith. That's what meant to be will be. And enjoy this positive energy that's shining on the world at the moment and take advantage of it. You know, be understanding of other people. Find conflict resolution within your own mind and your own day-to-day circumstances, and expect that for the world platform. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.